Hey folks, this is Abel James, and thanks so much for joining us on Fat Burning Man, where we talk about real food and real results. Remember when you could play all day and not even think about it as a workout? Wouldn't it be great if we could have recess again? Maynor and Kenny Stanford are two fathers and best friends who found a way to bring play back into fitness. At their gym just down the road here in Texas, Grit Fitness, they created Recess for grownups. You're going to like this one. Before we get to our interview, let me ask you this. Have you ever struggled with eating too much sugar? I definitely have. Well, we just wrapped up our 7-day sugar detox challenge, and it was a doozy. We are very happy to help you get the sugar monkey off your back. Here's what some tribe members had to say about our latest sugar detox challenge. Joshua says, I finished my 7 days without sugar. I've been largely off processed sugary foods since starting the wild diet in January, with some setbacks along the way, but still included some natural sugars like honey, maple syrup, and dates in desserts a few times a week. Cutting everything out for a week helped me to be more mindful about my cravings. Moving forward, I intend to have more appreciation for the occasional treat rather than making it a mindless part of my routine. Joshua, that is a great point. I think probably a lot of people listening right now, find themselves in the situation where they didn't plan to eat a bunch of sugar, but when you journal it out or you keep track of what you're eating over the course of the day and certainly over the course of the week, you find that you're eating a lot more sweets than you probably realize. And a lot of people will use it as a crutch, especially in the afternoon when people tend to be low on energy, or at night when people are low on willpower. So congrats to you for taking those 7 days. Hopefully you learned a lot. And Loretta says, I finally broke through my plateau. Hallelujah! I lost 10 pounds this week, down 37.5 pounds so far. I was stuck at around 30 pounds for months, and I feel great. I had a couple of coworkers do it with me, and that helped so much because I wanted to set a good example for them. Thank you for always motivating us. Loretta, that's awesome. You definitely hit upon one thing that's super important for all of this. We're in it together. Group accountability, you're going to be hearing a lot about that on this episode here today, so stay tuned for that. I think you're going to like it. One last one from Darla. She says, I'm not much of a sugar eater, but this challenge did call to attention that multiple times a day I reach for a little something without even considering the sugar content. Drum roll, please. I lost half an inch around my waist and an inch and a half around my hips. I was actually really surprised to lose 2 inches in a week just by giving up sugar. I think this may be a once in a month challenge for me now, especially since I'm so close to my goal and dropping the pounds is getting a bit trickier. Thanks for the challenge. Darla, congrats on making it so close to your goal, and I know that kicking out sugar is definitely going to help you get all the way there. So we're going to help you do it. And the good news is if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I really want to kick the sugar habit, or I'm eating way too many sweets, or I just want to lose a few pounds, get in the best shape of my life, we have brand new wild recipes for our members. We're talking slow roasted ribs, Persian kebabs, chicken tikka masala, one of my all-time faves, and the delectable wild pumpkin bread, and tons more. If you want all of these recipes and done-for-you wild meal plans to help you burn stubborn fat, listen up. You can get all these goodies and more for a limited time when you join us in the Fat Burning Tribe. If you want everything you need to get in the best shape of your life all in one place, join us for a discount at fatburningtribe.com. Once again, from any device, including the one you're listening on right now, just type in fatburningtribe.com to join us. And in this particular show, you'll hear about my New York Times best-selling book, The Wild Diet. If you just want to dip your toes in, grab the book or the audiobook and let me know how you like it. All right, on to the show with Kenny and Roy. On this show, you'll learn why Abel James is a dirty word at Roy's house, how Roy's wife lost 22 pounds in 40 days, why you should consider throwing a wild party, how to bring back recess for grown-ups, and much more. So what happens when a couch potato challenges himself to run a tough 15-mile obstacle course race in the snow? Let's find out with Kenny and Roy. All right, folks, we're here today with Kenny Stanford and Roy Maynor of Grit Fitness. They're coaches, fathers, and obstacle course heroes. Thanks to you both for being on the show.
Thank you.
So this is going to be fun. I can already tell, but I want to start with a story. Back in 2013, you guys said that the Spartan Beast in Glen Rose, Texas, pretty much messed up your lives. So tell us what happened.
So, we had started training. How long had we trained for before that? Together, it'd probably been about 2.5 months, maybe. Two and a half months, which is not enough training for what we were about to encounter. We found out after the fact, obviously.
Sure.
So we knew it was going to be a long race for us, long. The furthest we had gone previous to that but myself was about 4 miles, which
Okay.
I know we've been doing this a while now, so that's nothing. That's to some people, but to us,
Sure.
that was a huge deal at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, because we came off the couch previous to that, and to do 4 miles was, I mean, we were like, I can't believe we just did that.
Right.
I think he did a Tough Mudder,
Absolutely.
which is something like 10 miles with a group of guys.
Much slower pace.
Yeah.
Much slower pace at the Tough Mudder. And so then we started training for this Spartan Beast, which ended up being 15 miles.
Mm-hmm.
When we look back at the reviews of the race, they talk about it as being one of the hardest, most difficult, treacherous races they've ever put on ever, including their championship races. So,
And you guys are 2 months off the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Well, no, we had started in January.
Uh-huh.
So the race was in December?
It was December.
It was in December.
Oh, okay, so you built up
we
to
had been
that
training the whole year, but specifically for that race,
Yeah.
we only put about 2.5 months worth of training into it.
Right.
I mean, we had been training, just not specifically for that distance and what we were going to encounter. And
Sure.
we didn't even know what we were doing anyways.
Yeah.
There actually wasn't a whole lot of information that we could find about how to train for an obstacle course race. It was all over the place
Right.
back then. It's gotten a lot better. But we show up to this race.
A 12-mile race.
We thought it was 12 miles. Ends up being 15 miles.
Yeah.
And it's snow on the ground,
Yeah.
which, we're from south of Houston in Texas.
Doesn't snow.
I understand. It's like
We
100
don't do
degrees
snow
here
on the
right
ground.
now.
That's not
Yeah.
a thing. So that alone was enough to, we were just terrified.
Sure.
Just the fact there's snow on the ground, and we're fixing to go do, and we know they're going to put us in the water several times.
Yeah.
That was really all that was going through my mind was like, I don't want to get in the water.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So 15 miles later, four and a half hours later,
4.5.
at one point I remember thinking I was running. I was moving. It was what you do when you're running, right? I was moving like I was running.
Sure.
And this older guy comes walking beside me and passes me, and I'm like, well, is this really happening? Towards the end, the last 2 miles or so, if there would have been a way I could have gotten off the course at that time, I would have done it. I would have been like, I'm out. I'm done. I tap. Let's get this over with. Carry me away.
Yeah.
But
Why didn't you?
Because
they wouldn't let you?
Yeah. So.
Well, that's great. And now you've transformed that into basically a place where you can teach hundreds of people how to do this themselves. But why would anyone in their right mind want to do this?
Well, I know for me, January 2013, I was, going into work, and a guy says, "Hey, there's a Tough Mudder coming in October. We want to put a team together for it." So, when I went home that day, got on the internet, started looking at Tough Mudder, it was kind of appealing because you see these guys climbing ropes in the mud, doing all these obstacles, and I think that it was exciting, right? And so, even today, before every race, you experience the kind of jitters and the excitement of what's coming, and I think that's what pulls people off the couch is the excitement of and it's pushing your body. That's one aspect of it, but it's a lot of fun too, and even through pain, you could have, there's the war stories afterwards. That's what we talk about the Glen Rose race even till today, if people will listen,
Right.
because of the things. We could talk this whole interview just about that race and all the things that we went through. But, it's the experience.
It was a rite of passage for us as far as
Absolutely.
fitness goes and, even
Shared-
being a man.
Yeah.
Right. Shared misery. But I can definitely relate to that. Once I ran a marathon and had run a few, knowing how hard that can be,
Yep.
you feel like everything else is that much easier after you do it, don't you? It's like
Absolutely.
when you're expecting 12 miles and you get 15 and you still have 2 to go and you were dead 10 miles ago.
Yeah.
It brings you to a place mentally that can really do exceptional things in your own life. So take us from that to where we are now. Now you actually lead challenges with other people. They're transforming their own lives, their bodies, their habits and health. How's that going for you guys?
It's going really well. We started in January, our own place. I had the dream for a while to do something like this. Me and him would train. We would actually get up every morning and train at 4:30 a.m. That's what worked for us.
Yeah.
We have kids, we have full-time jobs, so we weren't going to let that be an excuse to stop us. We had both made up our minds, we're going to do this. It just happened that our schedules worked out. 4:30 a.m. was what worked for us, and we lived right down the road from each other. So he would walk down to my house, or I'd walk down to his house, and we would train every day for going on 2.5 years at 4:30 a.m.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I had the dream I wanted to start something where we could bring people into what we had experienced. That was really the purpose. Like, this changed our lives. It's obviously, we would show up at these races and there'd be 5,000 people there, and we're like, where did these people come from?
Right.
How did they hear about this?
Yeah.
And so we wanted to take our friends and our family and let them experience that. So that's what it started with. And now here we are. We were able to kind of realize that dream and put something together. We started the gym in January, and we're kind of in awe of what's happened. And it's you've got like 160 now? It's taken on its own course, and it's a living thing now. It's crazy.
Why do you think it's grown so quickly? Because I know a lot of people out there, they own their own gyms, or they'd like to at some point, or they're coaches. What's the thing that you guys are really cultivating over there that's helping attract people to something that, it's hard for someone to get off the couch and then start training for something that looks like punishment, even if it is fun. So how do you get people to do that, and why have you had so much success in growing it?
I think for us, it's been the community side of things and helping people and making that our focus. Yes, we want to be the strongest people we can. We want to be the healthiest people we can. But really, we just want to be your friend and help you get started, and help you, once you get started, help you stay the course. And that's been our focus. We want the workouts to be challenging for everyone, but we want to be able to bring on the newest person that's 200 pounds overweight and help them on their level, all in the same setting. And somehow we've been able to manage that. We have people that are 200 pounds overweight, and then we have the elite athlete in the opposite corner doing the same workout. Obviously, one's modifying, and we can even make it more challenging for the other person. And everybody's working together, encouraging each other. It's really the same experience that we had on the Spartan race courses, to see all the different kinds of people that are there from different backgrounds and different fitness levels. So we tried to bring what we found in obstacle course racing and put it in our gym, and that's kind of what we've done. I think another factor that has helped us with the obstacle side of things is the popularity of American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah,
which
it's sure so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So people see that and they realize, the average Joe is doing this.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do it. It's giving people hope. So maybe people that felt hopeless. And I think that's what we offer. It's
giving adults an excuse and a place to play again.
Absolutely.
Which we have, I haven't seen a jungle gym that I could play on really since, recess in 6th grade, 4th grade, something like that. And it's just so cool. I think that many people are fed up with just like, I'm going to lift some weights, or I'm going to do this boring workout. No, let's go climb something. Let's use our bodies. There's such joy in that, right? When you realize your body's moving too quickly to pay attention to it, with your left brain, all of a sudden something clicks and you're in the zone. So it must be it must bring you guys pleasure to see other people who have been on the couch for a long time suddenly get off their butts and then have tons of fun, right? Doing something that maybe they never thought they could.
We're well over 20, 30 plus women that will walk into the gym and say, I will never climb the rope. Mm-hmm. And within 6 months, they're climbing a rope. I mean, we're talking 15, 20 feet, ringing a bell, and you want to talk about, it's exhilarating for us to be a part of that, because, I mean, this is something that you would do in high school, right? And kids struggle in high school to climb the rope. And then here we are, middle-aged men and women, you know, up the rope, ring the bell, and it's like, you know, that is just, it's almost hard to put into words how exciting it is that we're part of that. So
let me ask you this. What is the thing that brings people from that place of I can't do it to, okay, I'll go ring that bell, you know, skip ahead 6 months? What clicks for them?
I think it's a slow process.
Definitely.
Some faster than others, but it's seeing people. Some people just have that personality that they'll try anything, and I think the people that had that attitude that I'll never do that, they see those people and they see that they're really not that different than they are. What do they have that I don't?
Yeah.
I think that what has a lot to do with it, is people seeing other people accomplish things.
Right.
Which again, that's what we experienced at the Spartan race, and it just carries over. So
isn't that so cool? It's like it definitely rubs off on you, whatever your friends or your peers are doing or not doing. And so if you're in a group where all of your friends are ribbing you for getting vegetables with your meal, then that can poison itself pretty quickly. But the opposite is also true. I just read a study today that talked about people who have friends who eat in a healthy way tend to eat in a more healthy way themselves. It's basically something that is contagious. And I think I totally get your point, where if you see someone who is next to you and you didn't think that they would be able to do it, and they get up to the top of the rope, it's like, all right, I know that they're just normal people. They're not more special than I am, right? There's something that kind of like goes off in your own head where you're like, okay, that makes me want to do it. I can tell you that waking up in the morning, sometimes Allison will do kettlebells like right here next to this desk. And if I see that happen, then I really want to do burpees or something else.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways, right? And another piece that you brought up too, you guys said that you woke up at 4:30 in the morning to exercise, and that made me think of the times that I've gotten up for, like, when I wake up in the morning, really early in the morning for myself, and that doesn't happen very often, but I always do it with buddies who want to go for a hike, or, you know, family members who want to go on a vacation. There's something that's so powerful about that, where you guys have really hooked into community, even if it's just the two of you, right? Because that's where this started. Those are the things, like, you don't want to let the other person down. And that can really give you an excuse to be healthy for the rest of your life, right? Because it becomes like you take this one little step, then you take another one, then you take a bigger one, and all of a sudden you're a health nut. And that's what you guys want, right?
Absolutely. I think that's another part of the point you just brought up about not letting people down, is another part of the reason we've been successful is people connect with each other at the gym, and they know that other people are counting on them to be there. So it makes them show up every day.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge part of the consistency that we've seen, because what we did not want to do was be a gym where we're just collecting membership fees and we don't ever see you.
Yeah.
We really do not like that. So if we don't see you, we'll give you about a week, we're going to reach out to you.
Yeah.
We're going to find out where you are. You know, do we need to do something different for you?
Yeah.
As far as put your account on hold, does it not work out? Because we don't want to be that gym where people say, yeah, I'm a member of that gym,
right,
but they don't go there.
Yeah.
We want people to be a part of it and be an active, have an active role in the gym. So
that, I think you nailed it, because they even call it in business like the gym membership model.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
where 90% of people sign up and they might go a couple of times, but they're just billed on a recurring basis and they never use it. And
I've been there. I've been that person.
Sure.
So
right, well,
it didn't feel good.
Yeah, most of it. That's the thing that is you feel like such a loser if that happens, right? So if 90% of the people buying a product from a place are getting jaded about fitness, it's kind of hard to bring people back from that burnout. And I think you need that community to really do it and get people to realize once again that it's not something you don't have to go and slog on a treadmill for 2 hours every morning at 4:30. No. You get to go play with your buddies at the gym and climb stuff.
Exactly.
That's a powerful difference, and it's even more powerful to experience it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So let me ask you this: you are each fathers, one of two, another of five. That's so often the excuse for people, right? Having kids or having a lot of kids, that they say everyone else comes first.
Yep.
And that's the excuse they use to stay on the couch or not really be that active or not eat that well or what have you. You guys are rocking it. What's your advice to the people out there who may be, especially new parents, who think that they can't do it right now?
It's not perfect in my household, and I mean, Kenny's kind of in the same shape.
Sure.
You know, just to kind of shift direction towards the wild diet, we've implemented that book I started actually using that book in February, using your model in February. Cool. And probably middle of March is when I said, okay, Maynor household, we're going to clean out our pantries and we're going to use this model. And my daughter's 14, my son is 12, and we still fight on a daily basis. I believe they probably hate the word organic.
Yeah, trying to change the food culture of a teenager.
Right.
Yeah,
Good luck, buddy.
They may not like you if we ever meet in person, because you know you
take a punch from me, right?
You've destroyed McDonald's and pizza and you know,
Guilty.
and really and truly, there is some compromise. You know, we have our treats, like you talk about. We have our treats on the weekend. You know, we hadn't stopped ice cream. We have our cheat meals, and but I mean, if I had to give advice to a parent or parents, I would say just try to be consistent and try to. It's a process, just like coming off of a couch to where we are now. You know, you want to plant that seed, and you want to continue to water and cultivate. And you know, my hope is that, you know, every time I have the opportunity to kind of teach a little or try to explain about sugar or you know, why we don't want to eat that, you know, that's the seeds that I plant for my kids, and try to help them whenever they start, you know, they go into the adulthood, they can start making the best decisions, because it really is night and day the way our bodies can feel whenever you get off of processed junk. Yeah. I mean, it's once people start to really realize it, once your mind starts to really understand what you've been putting in your body, it really starts to see the difference. So
yeah. What did you guys experience when you first made that shift yourselves?
I know that my sleep, I tell people this all the time, my sleep changed substantially. And I've never been really a terrible sleeper, but I tell people that all the time that I was really trying to cut weight. I was trying to get rid of this pesky little wing fat, you know, that would never go away. And so prior to the wild diet, I would eat a nice breakfast, a good lunch, and dinner was around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and it was very small amounts of food. So I would go to bed starving. Oh my God, starving. And wake up famished. And you don't sleep well when you're starving, you know? And in the section in the book where you talk about how we go into sleep, we start breaking down our dinner and getting ready for the next day, that was just revolutionary. Now, to your point, you can't put a bunch of processed junk in your body and go to sleep and expect for that just to become the next day's fuel. Yeah. So when I started, and I didn't eat salads prior to the wild diet, okay?
Right. Most people don't.
I started eating.
Pickiest eater.
Pretty much.
Ask his wife.
On the planet. I started eating salads. I started loving avocados, things of that nature. And, you know, like you said, your body will get to a point where you start to crave the greens and crave.
And then you get the butter and bacon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's
easy sell.
That's the no-brainer. So for me, the huge thing was my sleep changed, because you do sleep so much better when your body's kind of working on that and getting ready for the next day. And I mean, that was. And not to mention, I shaved off the extra 5 pounds that I've been trying to get rid of. All that went away within a month, and it was like, where's this all been? You can't you don't get this information out there.
Yeah, we've been hard at it for over 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And the dude's finally cut up.
Wow.
Being on the wild diet.
Right.
So,
That's terrific. And you guys did a challenge at your gym too, right? With some other folks who did
yes,
the
sir,
40
yeah.
days. What did you see there?
Huge success. And I think that is definitely a huge factor in what we saw a shift after we posted the results of the challenge. I think we were running around 40 members.
Yeah, at a maximum.
Yeah, and we had about 30 people accept the challenge. We laid it out verbatim what the book says. We brought the book up to the gym. We actually and so the way our gym works is we do workout of the day, and there's class times, and that's the layout as far as that goes. We actually took a whole day, and the classes all day that day were just the talk to set up the challenge.
Wow.
Which I think was part of the success of the challenge.
Yeah.
Was we actually took the time to go over it. We brought the book up there. We laid it out, explained to him. It had question and answer time. We had read the book several times to make sure we knew what we were talking about.
Yeah.
We had read a few other books in relation to it, just to iron out any of the details because we knew people would have questions and we wanted them to be successful. So we took the time to do that. We laid it out. People accepted the challenge, and they did the 40 days, and they took it huge serious. They were accountable to each other. There was lots of social media, online accountability going on. That's when we started having these Friday coffees where we'd have a wild diet dessert, kind of have our cheat on Friday. Yeah, it was amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so we'd have our class at 4:30 a.m. and then we'd go straight to the coffee shop, and we'd all show up with homemade wild desserts, and it was one of the highlights of our week. It still is.
Yeah.
We had about how many people? We had 30 people do the challenge, and almost unanimously, everyone had extremely great results. His wife being one of the biggest benefactors, I think.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so she actually lost, your book says 20 pounds, up to 20 pounds in 40 days. She actually lost 22 pounds.
Wow.
And the biggest thing that I tell people is that my wife likes to work out, but you have crazy months, right, where things just fly by, and she didn't really get to work out that much. It was more about the eating, and so I actually think that she could have lost more. It's not like I wanted her to lose more, but I mean, I think that only working out a handful of times and losing what she lost definitely shows, and it's really educated myself and Kenny more that diet and nutrition is so important in this process.
That's part of the reason we wanted to bring some sort of nutrition into the picture, which we had done since the beginning.
Yeah.
But we were just kind of going off the cuff on, the research that we had done and the information that we had.
Sure. And
just trying to do our best to educate our members.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled upon the Wild Diet. I love audiobooks, and it just popped up as like hey, you should, if you liked these books, you'll probably like this. So I was like, why not? We'll give that a listen.
Yeah.
I'll at least listen to the first chapter of pretty much anything.
Sure.
And I remember I text Roy, and I'm like, Roy, everything is about to change. Everything. This is where I found it. And he's probably gotten like over a dozen texts like that from me since we started being friends.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, just fill me in. Let me know what I need to do.
Right.
What is it? Just spit it out. So,
but
then
it stuck.
Then we brought it to the gym, and the rest is history. So people love it. We have the books at the gym. We promote it. We probably have had, I would say, because this is what blows my mind, is we'll have people that do not go to our gym. They're not members of our gym, that we'll meet, and they'll say, hey, thanks for, promoting the Wild Diet. I started it, 30 days ago. I've lost 10 pounds.
Wow.
And we're like, really? Yeah. I did not realize that. Good to know.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, interesting. This makes me so stoked because the reason I wrote the book, and if you kind of like deconstruct it, I wrote it to really be given away. Oddly enough, the way that publishing works is I actually don't get paid when someone buys my book because it's just kind of a wacky system. But, it's this thing where I try to put basically everything that you need to know, like 80 to 90% anyway, without getting too lost in the details from a nutrition standpoint, to really get your health into your own hands. And it works well for almost everybody, but there are certain people with individualized conditions and things like that who might just learn how to eat a little bit cleaner, and they might have to make some tweaks or whatever. But I wanted it to be kind of this thing that you could give to someone who had no idea about what to do, and if they did a little bit of work, it could get great results for them. So I'm so thrilled that you guys are kind of like helping spread the message about all that, because that's really, it's why I do what I do, and it's super inspiring. But I'm not going to let you go about the father thing quite yet, because especially with that many kids, right? Not only do you guys have day jobs or whatever, running a gym, you have these kids, you're also in great shape and you're eating well. Are there any like tricks to make sure that you're doing the right things every day or every morning or for one particular meal? Is there any trick that you guys have learned aside from eating salads?
Well, I was going to say earlier, I think the biggest thing is that I decided to, instead of making my kids an excuse as a reason that I couldn't do things, that I realized were important. My health is important, right? Yeah. I use them as a reason to, as opposed to an excuse. So instead of having that excuse, that's not an excuse. That's a lie. So I'm lying to myself if I say, I can't work out because I have kids. That's ridiculous. It's absurd. Sure. I'm a grown man. I have so much going on in the day, but there's always time to take care of yourself. I think just completely erasing that excuse, that was probably one of the biggest things for me. And then it helped me eliminate all the other excuses. Right. There's no excuse. If my kids are why I'm doing this, if my wife is why I'm doing this, so I can be here to take care of them and to, be the man I'm supposed to be for them, I have to take care of my body. Yeah. I'm an example to them, and I represent them, and I want to do that well. So I think that was one of the biggest things for me. Yeah,
that is a good
one. Like you said, it's contagious, right? So you have to continue every day. There's struggles, but you continue moving forward, and eventually they're going to follow suit. I mean, for the longest time, my wife, not that she wouldn't work out, she liked to work out with me, but for the month and a half with the Wild Diet Challenge, for me, when I started implementing it, she's like,
Abel James was a bad word.
It kind of was.
She
because
said, who cares what Abel says? Why do you keep saying that? Well, Abel said this.
Yeah, you've been put in the cultish realm, because there's a few books that I constantly have to reference these books, and she's like, if you say that word one more time.
She's a fan now, though.
She is a fan.
That's fantastic.
Big time.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Glad you're a fan. Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we always keep the compass pointing at north, right? That's the biggest thing. Like you said, sometimes you have bad days, sometimes you have bad meals. You might have 2 or 3 bad meals. Pick yourself up and start moving forward. Right. And that's all that I can do or we can do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. Now, so you guys, you've grown this from basically nothing. This sounds like it's a dream job, right? It's not always easy, but
it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. You do play for work,
yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Like literally.
Pretty much.
I think that's so great. So, are there any little things that people might be able to do from home? Tiny little exercises or something like that, just to kind of get them off the couch and get them ready for that next step. Yeah, what do you got?
Burpees. We can't not talk about burpees.
Yeah.
Yes. Burpees are also something that we owe a great debt to, I believe.
Sure.
It's the exercise that you love to hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a bad word in every household, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But I totally agree with you. What else you got?
Where the gym has really grown is just the community. So, everybody has a job, everybody's busy, but there's always that time to find, even if you can't come to the gym, we post our WODs on Facebook.
Yeah.
And, our people, oh, well, I didn't get to make the 4:30 class, but you'll see a post on Facebook, here was my time for the WOD, So, I mean, one of the things that you get when you connect with us is that you get the access to see those workouts and you also, you get hooked in linked in. So,
I think social media is another part of it. Is it helps hold you accountable when you put it out there.
Yeah.
Some people get annoyed by the fitness posts,
right?
But I never do. I see it as it makes me happy when I see that stuff. Hey, I finally ran my first mile. I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. Way to go.
Yeah.
A lot of people get annoyed by that stuff, but we promote the social media aspect of fitness, and I think it's part of the reason fitness is so big like it is right now. People like to cheer each other on.
Yeah.
And it helps to have that encouragement to know that people do care. So,
and know that other people are doing it right now too,
absolutely.
and that their lives are hard wherever they might be. But it's a whole group community thing. At least the good thing about social media is people can just unfollow whatever anytime they want. So at some point, it just becomes whatever you make it anyway. Yeah. And it can be such a powerful tool. I mean, we have the Fat Burning Tribe with our membership community, and it's incredible because there are people, in Australia who will be answering questions for someone else who's, doing shift work or up in the middle of the night in America, and everyone's just so connected with each other, doing the same thing in a completely different part of the world. And I think one of the hardest things about when you get started with a change, especially with something as personal as the food you eat, you don't want to feel like you're going it alone, because it's hard when you try, you're the only one in your family or circle of friends, and you're completely changing everything. You're eating salads for the first time. Salads. Yeah. You're a guy and you're eating salads. Yeah. It's
putting butter in your coffee.
Or putting butter in your coffee.
Why would anyone do that?
The looks.
So
you totally joined a cult, but it's also such a great point for inspiration and setting that example, like you guys said, for the rest of your family. And I know the fact that my dad played basketball, even though he kind of struggled with his weight sometimes growing up, that, we played basketball growing up. We played sports together, and I get all nostalgic just thinking about that, but that's forever linked to like playing sports and going out for a hike or a run or something like that. And the fact that you guys are in great shape and you have kids, you're running a gym, your kids are going to be growing up seeing that, and even if they don't respond to it right now, I know they will. That will always be there for them. So you guys are doing such great work. I'm really proud of you and thankful for you. So thanks so much for coming on the show. Before we go, tell folks where they can find you online and offline as well, and what you're working on next.
So online you can find us at on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Grit Fitness Texas TX, Grit Fitness TX. And then at www.gritfitnessocr.com. And then we're here in West Columbia, Texas, about 45 minutes south of Houston.
Awesome. Allison and I are looking forward to making that drive and having some wild diet desserts one of these days. So
absolutely, yeah. We love
all right.
that.
Thanks so much to you both. We'll see you soon.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Abel.
Thanks again for listening to Fat Burning Man. Don't forget, before you go, check out fatburningtribe.com. If you have a question for me that you want answered about how to improve your performance, what to eat for dinner, how to drop fat quickly, how to improve your overall health, or anything else, we answer all of your questions there. So quickly, you can get the first month for just $1 for a limited time. Check it out at fatburningtribe.com. All right, I'll see you there. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Fat Burning Man. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, the podcast app, or wherever else you might be listening to or watching this show. Got a second? Please leave me a quick review on iTunes. I always love hearing from you, and if you think someone else might like and benefit from this free show, please take a second to share it with a friend or with a family member. You can get in touch with me on Twitter at FatBurnMan and Facebook by typing in Abel James or Fat Burning Man. Drop me a line anytime. Did you know that I've recorded over 150 episodes of Fat Burning Man, winning 4 awards in independent media and hitting #1 in more than 8 countries? And here's some more good news. You can download and listen to every single episode for free. All you have to do is type in fatburningman.com. I'll give you a second to type it in, fatburningman.com. And you'll get all the show notes in video and audio versions for all the past episodes of Fat Burning Man. Better yet, enter your best email at fatburningman.com, sign up for my newsletter, and I'll even send you a quick start guide to start burning fat right now and a few of our ridiculously tasty recipes as a special thanks for signing up. Once again, just go to fatburningman.com right now, enter your best email to get your free fat burning download straight to your inbox, and make sure that you never miss a show again. This is Abel James signing off. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great week.
Myself, and I love the people around me, and I know that if I can do these things better, if my body's healthier, if my mind is healthier, if I'm emotionally more stable, all of these things, if I'm better at these things, the people around me